Welcome back to Oliver Rain Knits. My name is Tracy and this is episode 3. Today I'm going to talk about sweaters, particularly sweaters of Christmases past, present, and future. So let's begin. I know you all want to know about the sweater I'm wearing and this one behind me, but I'm going to go in chronological order, starting from my 2018 sweater. This is the Deery Me sweater by Caitlin Shepherd. I was a test knitter on this pattern, and this is the first all-over colorwork sweater that I've done. I was a little daunted when I first began because I'd never done an all-over colorwork sweater, but this really pushed me to learn more about stranded colorwork and using the two-handed colorwork technique. And by the end, I was totally in love with doing stranded colorwork. So that is my Deery Me sweater. The yarn that I used is Holst Super Soft. It is 100% wool, and it contains a lot of spinning oil. So when I first started working with it, I found it really greasy, and the color or the oil was wearing off into my hand. So I took the wool and I soaked it and dried it out. It fluffed up a lot and I found it was a lot easier to work with. So if you are going to be working with Holst Super Soft, I would encourage you to wash it before you knit it up, and I think that you'll have a more enjoyable knitting experience. All right. Okay, now we can talk about what I am wearing. This is my Betty and Judy Lodge sweater by Poison Girls. I'm going to just stand up because the item I'm wearing with it is what prompted me to knit this sweater. Look at this. Oh, isn't it glorious? In case you haven't noticed, I really love vintage and retro inspired clothing. About a week before Christmas in 2019, I was at a vintage clothing store, and this skirt pretty much attacked me from the wall. It leaped off the rack and onto my body. I had to have it, and of course, I had to make something to go with it. My first thought was the Betty and Judy Lodge sweater. Look at this. Is this not adorable? The little holly berries are baubles, and the holly leaves are made with intarsia. There is a little keyhole neckline at the back that I just have with a button, and adorable puff sleeves. Some people have adapted the yoke to have color work, different colors. I've seen one really clever sweater where the leaves are acorn leaves and the little baubles are acorns, kind of more a fall-inspired sweater. It's just a little bit customizable, but I knit this pretty much exactly to pattern. It took me about 5 days, and Christmas Eve I had this adorable outfit. I felt very princess-like and very festive. So that is 2019. I loved this sweater so much that I went back to Poison Girls for my 2020 sweater. This is another Poison Girl sweater. This is the Night Before ski sweater, and I absolutely love the design. However, I do not love the yarn that I used. It is a Fiber Company Acadia yarn, and it is an 80% merino with 20% alpaca and 20% silk. I think the silk is giving it this nubby texture, and even though I ran a clothing shaver over the sweater, I think it looks kind of pilled. So I would really love to make this sweater again and maybe use a fingering weight yarn held with mohair. And I think it would be really cute if I added some metallic thread or some sequined yarn or something in this white, because I think it could be really cute. I mean, it is really cute the way it is, and I do wear it, but could be better. However, I do have other sweaters I want to make, so who knows if I'll get back to it. All right, so those are my sweaters of Christmas past. Let's talk about my sweaters of Christmas present. I'm still not going to talk about the one on the mannequin. You're just going to have to wait a moment. This is one of two sweaters that I made this year. This is the Winter Juniper sweater by Caitlin Shepherd, Lucky Pigeon Knits. She is the designer for the Deery Me sweater as well. I was a test knitter on this, and she is just so clever. There's a deep V in the front and in the back. The back is trimmed with this lace. The yarn is from Crafty Jacks, and it is a BFL fingering weight yarn and Tessa silk. And the color is deep jungle. So it's this green, gorgeous evergreeny color. I've never worked with BFL before, or maybe I have, but not 100% BFL. And it's so drapey. I actually knit this entire sweater twice because it was so drapey that it felt really, really big and oversized the first time. And the design, I think, is supposed to be a little bit closer fitting. So I frogged the entire sweater and reknit it with a smaller needle. And I'm a lot happier with what I have done. So I will post a picture, I guess maybe over here. We'll see, because it really does look a lot better on the body than it does with me just holding it up. Caitlin is really, really smart. This sweater is made with two fronts and two backs. Then the whole thing is joined together in the round. I have made a few modifications. I decreased the last few rounds before the ribbing, and I added more ribbing just to make it a little bit more of a vintage inspired top. And again, it's got these gorgeous puff sleeves. I really do like puff sleeves. I also love Anne of Green Gables, so if you like puff sleeves, read that book. Weird literary reference, but yeah. So just give me one moment. I am going to put this sweater on that I've got on the mannequin so you can see it. I'll be right back. Well, what do you think? Let me just do a little turnaround. I have talked about this sweater in my past 2 episodes. This is my Christmas Soldotna, a pattern by Caitlin Hunter of Boylan Knitworks. And I'm in love with this sweater. It's a contender for my favorite all-time sweater, along with this guy. I used Black Cat Custom Yarns, DK weight yarn. They don't have it in stock right now due to availability, but these colors are available in many other bases. I did customize this pattern a little bit. A few modifications. I lengthened the bodice by adding extra repeats, more ribbing. I decreased the amount of stitches. Before I started the ribbing, I added longer sleeves. Last episode, I called these flea stitches. I actually think they might be called lice stitches, although I did find some patterns that called them flea stitches. So who knows? And really, who cares? It's a color work stitch. This pattern took me about 3 weeks to knit, and I really couldn't be happier with it. And I'm really glad that I chose this as my second 2022 sweater. So that is all the present and past sweater talking that I'm going to be doing. I think now we should talk about some future knitting plans that I have for 2023. I almost forgot about the other finished object that I'm wearing. It's a skirt, and it has pockets. This is the Hollyburn Skirt by Sewaholic, and it was a fairly easy sew. I keep calling it a knit. I keep having to redo this video because I keep calling it a knit. It is a sewn garment. I'm not a great seamstress. I traced the pattern, I cut out all the pieces one afternoon, and then the following day I sewed it together. It has a zipper in the back. It's not perfect. I used some quilting cotton that I got at a local fabric store, and it's perfect. I probably will wear it on Christmas Day, and it doesn't have to be perfect. Sometimes you just have to let that notion go, and I think it looks so cute. It is maybe a little busy, but if you can't be extra at Christmas, when can you be extra? All right, now back to knitting content. Come here. Hello, welcome back. The third part of my video didn't work out yesterday, where I talked about sweaters of Christmas future. So I had to re-record, and I thought I'd set up in a new location. I'm sitting on the dog's bed. She's a little weirded out. We have it right in front of the fireplace where they love to come and bask in the warmth and have to be encouraged away from it sometimes. That's why she's sitting here. They're so funny. I was hoping to put them more on camera, but it doesn't look like she's gonna relax at all. It's actually a lucky thing that I had to re-record because I remembered that I had a pair of Christmas socks. I only have one pair, although I do have a few skeins of Christmas yarn that I look forward to making into Christmas socks for future years, or just for wearing. I love wearing wool socks all winter long. They keep my feet so cozy. And we've had some really, really cold weather. The wind chill outside is about -40. I've had some short walks with the girls, but their toes get pretty cold and they refuse to wear boots. Anyway, let's talk about some knitting. These are my Christmas Eve socks. This is a free pattern by a designer named Anna Lang that I found on Ravelry a few years ago. The natural colored yarn, the white, that actually looks kind of pink on here, is, I'm not sure what kind of yarn it is, but the micro stripe that I've used as the contrast is from my good friend Kelsey at KZip Knits. You can find her on Instagram, and she also has a website where she sells her hand-dyed yarn. This is a red and green micro stripe that I've paired with white, and the pattern is little Christmas trees. Hope you can see that. The yarn I've used is Garibaldi fingering. It's an 80% merino, 20% nylon fingering weight sock yarn. And please check out Kelsey's other yarns. She and her husband Chris made the leap about a year ago to focus on dyeing yarn full time, and I think they're killing it. They are just both so talented and hard workers and lovely, lovely people. Hi, Kelsey. Anyway, let's talk about some sweaters of Christmas future. So I've picked out 4 patterns that I will show you. I printed them off because YouTube is a little weird and won't let me put the pictures on the screen because of copyright issues. I totally understand that. The first pattern is one that I actually have had for a few years. I considered it as a second sweater for 2020, and it is the Julgran sweater by Andy Satterland. And she is another designer that has a lot of vintage inspired patterns, some cute little cardigans, some fitted tops with puff sleeves, and some without puff sleeves. This design has a Christmas tree on the front. Isn't that adorable? So I think you could either leave it plain or you could embellish it with some little beads or with some rhinestones, or pretty much do whatever you want with it. I started this in 2020, but I think the yarn wasn't quite right and the color was off, so I abandoned it and never returned to it. But I think I have to pick up that pattern and try making it maybe for 2023. The second pattern is called Sleigh Queen, and it is so adorable. There are 6
Santas and holly leaves and berries. There's Christmas stockings and little trees and gingerbread men. I think you could have a lot of fun with this pattern, making it with different colors, and I kind of like it just the way it is. It's very much the colors that I am drawn towards. I just think it's so cute. I am a huge fan of color work. Stranded color work is my favorite. I do like mosaic. I also like cables and stockinette stitch. I just like everything, all things knitting. So maybe that one will be my 2023 sweater. The third pattern is by Susan Crawford, and it is the perfect Christmas sweater. And for me, I think it might be the perfect Christmas sweater. It has reindeer on it and other motifs, and I really think that I need a red and white sweater in my Christmas wardrobe. Maybe my goal should be to have a different sweater for every day of December. Oh, my goodness, my fingers will be working all year round. So that is with little puff sleeves and fitted and just totally at my retro love. The last pattern is by Skein Knits, and this is the Festive Yoke sweater. I really love Skein Knits patterns. They're all kind of Norwegian inspired. That is where she's from. And again, it's a red and white sweater. I really think I need one in my wardrobe. So the one thing with this pattern is she provides, I think, 20 different motifs. So you could really make the sweater absolutely your own. It would also be really cute in green and white, or maybe gray and, oh, no, I have a gray and white sweater. Anyway, I think I could have a lot of fun with it. Oh, what about micro striped? Oh, so many ideas. So that is the last sweater. Who knows what I'll come up with? There are just so many patterns, so many amazing patterns out there that I could probably easily find a different sweater to make for every day in December, but if only I had more time. Jobs, they just get in the way sometimes. The last thing I want to talk about is the mother sweater. All right, let's be real. I cast on a different sweater. I was originally going to use the Felix pullover and just didn't feel special enough. This is the Oxa sweater by Caitlin Hunter at Boyland Knitworks. And this was actually one of my first choices because it is originally made in the Woolfolk Far yarn that I had. And I put it aside because it had cables in it. I like doing cables, but I thought, I just don't have time to make a cabled sweater. Now here I am, less than a week before Christmas, trying to finish a sweater with cables. It's okay. There's just 2 sections with cables, very fast. There's, I think, I don't know, 3 different cabled rows in each section. And I'm already on Body Island. I have about another 2.5 inches of stockinette stitch, and then some ribbing, and then sleeves. So I will be seeing my mother on the 28th, weather depending. We've had some ridiculous snowstorms, and it's been a really, really long winter. And it hasn't actually even begun. So hopefully, weather permitting, I will see my mother and be able to gift her this sweater. I will put pictures up for the next episode. I really hope she likes it. It's just so soft and cozy. It's a little bit colder. They get more wind where she lives near the mountains, and I think that a cozy sweater will come in really handy this year. So that is all the knitting that I want to talk about today. I have so many plans for the new year. I am really enjoying making these videos. It's even more fun than I thought it would be. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. It does help bring visibility to my videos. Again, I have so many plans for the new year. There is a local yarn store I plan to visit with an interview with the shop owner. I want to take you on a little tour of my doll houses. I also have so many other things that I'm making. This isn't necessarily a happy or easy time for a lot of people. There are so many expectations that come along with the holiday season, and I think we all need to remember to take some time for ourselves. It isn't an indulgent thing to take time for self-care. It is a necessity. I'm always reminding my daughter of this, and sometimes I have to remind myself. Though for me, any time that I'm spent knitting is a form of self-care. So thank you all for watching. I wish you the happiest of the holiday season, and I look forward to connecting with you again in the new year. Thanks again for watching, and happy making.